Thanks again for joining me. It's February 2017. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au, and I'm only just, not even really a month and a half into my New Year's resolution. Yeah, even astrologers have New Year's resolutions. Mine has to do with controlling my opinions and my mouth, especially in the company of friends. Friends who now wish to ostracize me because I happen to dissent from the consensus. I happen to actually have an opinion that is slightly at variance with theirs, or with my family, or with, people that you would have thought would allow you the opportunity to simply voice an opinion, even if it is different. In the old days, and I am getting pretty old, even though you might beg to differ, which I thank you for, we were allowed to speak our minds. In fact, up till probably a year or two ago, I thought, democracy entailed freedom of speech. Well, obviously not. And that's become particularly clear during this last American election, where anyone who has a differing opinion to the left is somehow condoning the far right. It is possible to actually see both sides of the question, but to get back to my resolution, I think I'm going to pull back a little bit from politics, pardon me, from religion. Because there's certain linguistic no-nos now. It's called political correctness. You're not allowed to say Islamic fundamentalism. You're not allowed to say, well, Donald Trump's idea for this seems reasonable. You're not allowed to, talk out against illegal immigration. You're not allowed to talk out about a lot of things. And that's a bit of a concern, but that's okay. I think to spare myself the head bashings, I might just pursue this resolution with a little bit more vigour and conscientiousness, if only to keep the peace and to spare myself a few bruises. But speaking of friends, and I talked about this last year, the idea that friends respect your opinion, and sometimes it is just an opinion. These days you have to have sort of a litany of sources that support that. The other one is the new religion of climate change. I've talked about that as well. Now, people tend to jump down your throat. Climate change is a perfect example, where you don't necessarily want to take a contrary position to the fact that there is climate change, but before you've had the chance to add that, hang on, I'm not disagreeing that there's climate change, but perhaps there are other drivers. And there are also other agendas, and I'm sure you'd agree that governments worldwide are really, really good at pushing agendas, and often agendas that we're not even aware of. So, all I'm saying is that friends should, allow you the opportunity to voice your opinion. And on that question of friends, especially in Facebook, I'm having a look at my new list of possibly 1,500 or 2,000, I'm not sure. But when in the past did you, walk along the street and say hello to a friend only to find that they'd ignore you? And then you say hello to them the following week and they'd ignore you. And this is the definition of a friend. Well, I'm a little tired of that, and I think I might take my wife's lead, which is to basically start a new account, and now she's reduced her 800 or 1,000 friends to 33 friends. Probably getting nearer to the truth of what a real friend is. Someone that you can actually share your feelings with, let them share their feelings, have a bit of an argument, and it's like those UFC fighters. They beat the hell out of each other for 5 rounds and then come out hugging. Well, I thought they're opponents in the UFC ring, and they're still able to come out and give each other a hug and say, well, you know what, we had a dueling battle there, but all's fair in love and war. So I think I just have to pull back a little bit. It doesn't mean I'm not going to give my opinion on personal matters and what I think as an astrologer is coming up for each of the 12 signs. But I do think, it probably sounds a little paranoid, but I think it's becoming a little bit dangerous to speak your mind. It's almost like there's this me against them, like David and Goliath. I don't know whether you're feeling that. I'd be curious to hear whether some of you are also in the same boat. I know I've noticed online with a lot of people on Facebook. You go into the forums and that, you see a lot of, argumentation between people who are supposedly really, really good friends, but this threat of friendship ending if they don't desist from voicing an opinion that is contrary. So I'm not sure what to do about that, except, as I've said, to hold fast to my resolution, bite my tongue, sit back and watch the fight. Look, I'm going to get into some real astrology in a minute. I just had to get that off my chest. I appreciate you listening to me. As I said, I would value your opinion. I'm curious as to what a lot of you people think about this, and you can just send me a message here, leave your comments, and I look forward to continuing now with the monthly readings for each of the 12 star signs for February 27. Take care.